Hey guys, let's have a look at Emulation II Plus by UVI. This is a collection of 4 instruments. We have Emulation I, II, III, and we have Drumulation drum machine. So back in the 80s, of course, there were synthesizers, but there was also a sampler, and that was it. That was the emulator used by many famous artists like Depeche Mode, Jean-Michel Jarre, the Human League, well, many others, of course. And I'm going to show you how you can use it with the UVI Workstation. That's the free UVI Workstation, and with Falcon, which is an amazing synthesizer slash sampler slash music production system. So I'm going to show you that as well. So let's just dive into it and see Emulation II Plus. So before we get started, you will need the UVI Workstation. This is a free download, so you head over to this page, and I'm going to put the link in the description of the video. And everything from UVI can run inside this workstation. And there are a few things that you can do here. You can even layer several instruments together, even if they're not from the same package, from the same sound bank. And there are some effects and arpeggiators. So let's head over. I'm going to show you how you can use the workstation. So here we have the 4 instruments. We have Emulation I, II, III, we have Drumulation, and I'm using right now the free UVI Workstation. Let me show you how this works. So double clicking this browser, you'll see that you have the browser. And here I have all the sound banks that I own. I have several of them, and I'm now focused on the Emulation II Plus, and you can see that we have all those instruments, but we also have multis. So a multi is a UVI concept where you can layer different instruments together. I'm going to show you that later. So I'm loaded here with something from Emulation 3. Let's load something from Emulation 1 here, and going to just take, let's go for Hits and More, just the first one here. And let's hear how it sounds. Right, and you can flick right and left and get the next preset. Pretty cool, right? So this is a sampler. It means that everything is sampled from the original unit, and we have some controls over the sound. So first of all, of course, we have the amplitude envelope. This is where you can set the attack, decay, sustain, release, and it will shape the sound. So right now, this is a sort of a hit. So it has a very short attack, meaning we get right to the top of the volume, but we can set this, for example, midway, and we'll climb into that volume as we go. So the release is the amount of time that it will take for the sound to fade away, and then we have sustain, which will be the sustained level of the volume while we are with our fingers on the keyboard. The decay will be the amount of time going from the initial attack into that sustained level. I hope it makes sense. So I have a video explaining all of that. I just wanted to clear that up, because if you're new to this concept, then that's important, because you'll see that we have this ADSR envelope in all of the 3 emulators. And we also have the same concept for the filters. So what the filter does is basically filters out frequencies, but this one is a 3-way filter. We have low pass, high pass, and band pass. So it really depends which frequencies you want to remove. Do you want to remove more of the high frequencies and leave yourself with just the lows, or the other way around? Or you want sort of a band pass, so sort of just trimming from left and right, right? So if you only want to have a certain band. So right now this is a low pass, meaning we're letting the low frequencies pass, but we are attenuating the high frequencies. And you can see that we have several controls here. I'm not going deeper here. Let me know in the comments if you want to learn more about that concept and about that, especially in the Emulation II Plus, and I'll do a follow-up video on this one. So low pass, and I can automate that, so sort of getting the filter to open up and then close, or close and open, depending on the settings of this ADSR envelope. And I also have a video explaining that. So I can have an attack, and this means that the filter will be opening up from the point of the cutoff. So we have a cutoff frequency, meaning we are cutting everything above that frequency if we are in the low pass position here. And we need to set the ADSR depth. We have the drive, we have resonance, which is a sort of a peak around the cutoff point. And we'll hear that squeaking sound. Let's try another sound here. Let's get something else. Let's go for brass, and I'll go for the sax. Right, and I can do the same concept here with the filter. So I'm gonna set this here, gonna trim that. And let's get the ADSR depth. Cool. Let's try some other sounds that we can get from Emulation I. Let's see what we've got in keyboards. I'm just going to flick through some of the sounds. Right, and next one. Cool. Next, we also have the pitch and voice. So you can see we have octaves, we have semi, we have color, and we have the play mode, which can be polyphonic, meaning you can play several notes at a time. But we also have portamento, which we are sort of sliding. And then we also have the mono register and portamento. And let's go for the portamento. And that's the idea. And we also have some detuning here. So let's go for classic unison and get more sort of detuned sound. All right, so the idea behind unison is that we have more voices, and then we can sort of detune each of them, and together will give us a much wider kind of sound. And then on the bottom here, we have the different options for sort of fluctuating the sound with vibrato, tremolo, and filter LFO. So let's listen to that. I'm gonna again select something else just for fun, so we get more examples of the sounds. Let's go for orchestral strings, cello. And let's add the vibrato. It's already on, so get this depth. And we have the speed, and we also can control that with our mod wheel. You don't see me doing it, but I'm moving the mod wheel here. So that's the idea here. And the same concept goes for the tremolo. I'll turn it on. And that's the tremolo. I'm going to close that one. And then we have a filter LFO. So LFO, low frequency oscillator, meaning this will be an oscillator oscillating, changing over time continuously the filter cutoff. So I'm going to just power that on. And we can speed it up. And we can lock this to the mod wheel as well. Right, so these are the basic options here. And then if we go to the effects tab here, so if you didn't notice, we have edit and effect here. So we have several effects that we can put here. So let's try another one. Let's go for another something here. Let's go for voices, and we'll get, I don't know, let's try this one. All right, so I'm going for the effects here. So we have drive, we can turn it on. Not too much here. So that's the idea. Turn it off. Redux, just bit reduction. And if you want to lo-fi anything, and then we have chorus. We also have a phaser, a simple EQ, reverb, I think it's already on, and a delay. So we have the mix knob here. And this is pretty much it. Now, what we also have is an arpeggiator. You can turn it on here, and you can also edit. So it's not just a simple arpeggiator. You can see that we have a lot of things. So let me know in the comments if you want me to deep dive into that, if you want me to go and explain everything that you see here. I'll be happy to do so, but I need to know if that's interesting for you guys. So let's see what we've got. So first of all, we have choices. We don't have to program this ourselves. We have instrument phases. Let's try this one. I'm going to try and get another sound again, just for variety, so we get different options here and see what kind of sounds we have. Right, and I'm going for the arpeggiator, turn it on, and let's try instrument phrases. Cool, bass lines. Right, and more things that we have, bended sequences. And you can see those types here, those are the bands that we have. And let's pure arpeggiators. And so that is the arpeggiator. Turn it on, off here, and let's go back to the edit mode. So this is Emulation I, and let's head over to Emulation II. So that was I think that was the most used version of the emulator. So let's see what we've got. Right, so again, double click here on the top. We can try some iconic sounds. Let's go for this one. Next one. So one of the things that I wanted to show you is the multis. So that's a good time to do so. Double click here. Let's go for the multis and see how they sound just for a kind of demonstration. Let's go for this one. Very, very iconic stuff. Right, so these are the kind of sounds that you can expect and get from these instruments. Let's again dive into Emulation 2, see some more stuff. Let's see the ARP sequences. And let's try something else. Ethnic. Right, and the same controls are here as well. So we have the edit page. This is where we have the amplitude, filter, pitch and voice. Everything is just the same. Effects, everything is the same. So what is the difference? The difference is with the samples that we've got, because we are emulating the emulator. We're taking all those original sounds, and we also have a DPX button here to emulate the original unit. Let me know in the comments if you know what the DPX means. Okay, so that's a cool idea. And by the way, if you like this video so far, hit the like button and let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions or anything, I'll be happy to answer. And so let's move on. So again, we have the arpeggiator, turn it on, edit, just the same idea. And you can program this yourself. Right, and next, let's have a quick look at the Emulation 3. We have amplitude, we have the filter, we have the pitch and voice, vibrato, tremolo, and filter LFO. And again, we have all the voices here, all the different just sampled voices. Right, and let's try something else. Now, I also told you that you can do a lot of stuff with the workstation, even outside the libraries, even not related directly to what we are having here with this instrument. If you go to the Effect tab, you'll see that there's nothing here. And we also have part. I'm not going too deeply here. I'm not teaching you the workstation, but just to give you a hint of what you can do. So you click this plus, and you can add, like, let's say, stereo delay, cycle, double click that. Right, let's try something else. So I'm going to hit the X and let's try another one, fat delay. Let's go for Dreamland. Right, and let's try another preset here, synth plugs. And I'm going to add again a delay, stereo delay. And we can add more effects like just a pre-delay verb. No, let's go for simple and this one. And that's the idea. You add more and more effects. You can just add by clicking that plus, and we have EQs, we have filters, we have modulations. We can add a flanger here. Cool, right? And we have the arpeggiator. It's not on right now, and this is external to whatever instrument that you have. And again, we have choices here. So you'll see that we have basic. Let's do this one. So Drumulation, this is really a cool one. I actually already using it with some things that I'm doing here. So it looks quite complex here with this bluish user interface, but don't worry, it's pretty simple. So we have all the different instruments like the kick, snare, all the hats and everything else. Let's hear how it sounds. So we have things mapped out to our keyboard. We can play the individual instruments, but we can also play everything together like the pattern. Right, and let's try something else. So I'm going to click this here, and you'll see that we have the presets, lo-fi. Let's go for the next one. And we also have some 80s pop. Cool, right? And we have those blue right and left here, so we can select more. Right, and we have modern. So you don't really have to use all of these instruments just to recreate the 80s sounds. You can use this for pretty much anything. Really great sounding. So let's do something different. So how do you work with that? So first of all, you can see that we have for each of the instruments here, we have the pan, pitch, decay, we have drive, we have filters, reverb and delay. We have actually a couple of reverbs and delay here. And we also have the master effects here like drive and EQ and some other options that we have. We have the send effects here. So if you click the sequencer, you'll see also the pattern. So this is where you get all the patterns and you can program this yourself. But as I said, you can program this like any MIDI. Just use from C0, that will be your kick and onwards, and you can just create your own. Let's go again for just another pattern. So you can actually generate this, clicking here, generate, and then just drag and drop this anywhere you want. And now we get this here in my Cubase. And you can tweak it even further. So you can go and mess around with whatever you've got here. So this is with Cubase, the same idea with any DAW. So that's the Drumulation. Really loving it. Let's see some other stuff that we've got here. So if you go for the different kits here, you'll see that we can actually change the instruments. So right now this is the bass drum, right? And it comes from the Emulation SP. And I can go and select something else. So you can actually build your own kit very, very easily. So I can select again, let's try something different here. And I want to change the, let's change the snare drum. So you can go for Emulation II. Get this one. And you can, of course, solo or mute any of them. And you can, again, you can program everything inside the instrument and then generate and drag. So now let's head over to Falcon because I want to show you everything that we've talked about in Falcon. So you'll see the potential here and just get a glimpse of what is Falcon. So I'm going to add an instrument. I have it already here. So Falcon is a workstation for sound design, and it is really, really a great plugin or system, where you can see on the right here all those sound banks that I have, but we also have different different sounds that are baked in, like the Falcon factory here, and there are some many good sounds. So we can get arpeggiated, let's just for fun. And there's a lot of things going on here, so I'm going to show you something real quick. If you go here to this area, I'm just going to close, we have sample and we have synthesis. So this is a combination of a synthesizer and a sampler. So now let's go back to Emulation 2 and see what we've got. So I'm going back to my folders. Yes, I don't want to index this. And let's go for Emulation II Plus. I'm going to select something, some iconic 80s, all voices. And now you can see, again, you see the instrument here, but if you go to the tree view, you'll see everything that is making that particular sound. And if you go to edit, you'll see all those samples here and everything that is going on, and you'll see the effects here, which we don't have right now. A lot of effects. We can add more effects to this place. And I can actually go and see exactly how did they program this. You can see the effects, diode, clipper, redux. We have Theros phaser. I mean, all of these guys, if you look closely, these are the effects that you'll see here. This is exactly it. I'm going back here, and I can add effect at the program level, at the top level. And I'm not giving you a tutorial on Falcon right now. I actually have it in my channel, so I'm going to link you with that. But I can add a dual delay, for example, stereo delay, some, I don't know, let's take just the basic stereo. Right, and that's what we've got here. And I can change that actually and go for something else. Right, and I can add more, like a filter or maybe even equalizer. We have amp, we have modulation, chorus, analog fill. Right, so that was just a kind of very quick peek into Falcon. So that's pretty much it for us here. And I'm going to just go back to our main view here. So we have all these three plus the Drumulation. And that's pretty much it. So again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Like the video if you like it and it was helpful for you. And I'll see you in the next videos. Thank you and bye-bye.